Well, it's that time of the year again. Time to recap the year's best games. I'm going to do a couple of top 10s this week for specific genres, and then next week I will count down my top 10 games of 2023 overall. That said, let's start with my personal top 10 Metroidvanias of 2023. These are in order. Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, Metroid games are chief among the best Metroidvanias, obviously, so it was a real treat when Metroid Prime Remastered came out of nowhere. I never got into it on GameCube or any of the other releases, so this re-release felt like the perfect time to get hardcore into it, and I did! Graphically, it held up, and not just because it got the HD buffer. The design was always solid. The controller support was nice as well, as I often found GameCube controllers wacky across the entire system for games. Some things still held it back a bit as an early 2000s game though, like the checkpoint and navigation system. As far as a haunting shooter goes, it's all aces. I mean, it's Metroid Prime, it's a good game. Nuclear Blaze has Metroidvania elements, but it's also kind of just a linear action platformer. I still wanted to include it on this list though. So, you're a firefighter going through a facility on fire, you can douse flames, refill your tank from water sources, and so on. You'll gain new skills that will help with this effort, like a dodge roll, along with items to unlock the way forward. If you die, which will be often as one hit from fire will basically kill you. However, the checkpoints are generous and the load times are lightning fast, even on Switch, making defeat not feel that damning. If you like a particular section, you can replay that level too. It's simple graphically and mechanics-wise, but I found the puzzle-like nature of how to take care of rooms compelling enough to keep going. HunterX Codename T is a sequel, although you don't have to play the first to know what's going on. It stars a young silent demon hunter, Tayo, and his little devil companion, Marka. It's a Metroidvania with Dark Souls elements. You can upgrade your character at save points, and if you die, those points will be lost until you recover them. Also, leveling up gives you gems you can then use on a skill tree. You'll gain new spells and equipment through monsters and treasure chests, as is the typical Metroidvania loop. It's a bit generic visually, with dull backgrounds and enemy designs, but it does at least control well. I also never found it too hard, but the lots of upgrade points upon death did sour me a bit. Like, why bother? The story didn't wow me either, but still I was pretty happy with it overall. Cookie Cutter is a Metroidvania with hand-drawn animations, make it one of the slickest of 2023. It follows Cherry, a cyborg, who must go through waves of robots and mutants to get her beloved Shinji back. The combat is the primary focus and it's difficult too. You have to master combos, blocks, and counters if you want to stay alive. You can upgrade Cherry through parts collected from enemies or from special items found in the ever-expanding environment. It's kind of a grind. The game is on the gory side too, and it's definitely a punk rock attitude that seemingly says this is a game we wanted to make, and F all the haters. I mean, Cherry has a robot vagina she talks to named Regina. It's, something else. The biggest downside to the game is the glitches, from crashes to audio glitches where music and voice clips cut out. Weird to say that in a top 10. It feels a bit unfinished, of course, because of how frequent these hiccups are, but the game is good enough on its own that I'm confident it'll be better to maybe play in 2024, but I still wanted to include it on this list because I really did like the combat. Alice Escaped is a Metroidvania that stars not one, but two female heroines via Usada and Kotora. Usada wields a big cartooner's hammer, while Kotora has a equally large gun. You can swap between them on the fly, and they both have unique skills for traversal. Usada's hammer can smash through barriers, for example. There is quite an in-depth skill tree with more traversal abilities, powerful stat boosts, and more. There is no traditional leveling up system, and rewards are instead gained through collectathons. It's a cutesy Metroidvania, but one that is still tough as nails if you aren't skilled enough or ignore the skill tree. Astlibra Revision looks a bit generic visually, and the story certainly felt like a first draft fantasy adventure. So, going in, I was very meh. However, it's a solid Metroidvania RPG that I grew to like the more I played. You just have to get past the graphics, which again, can feel a bit dated. However, there are modern ideas in here too, some that other companies should try out. For example, when you level up, you get gems that can be placed in stats. At no cost to you, these gems can be rearranged whenever you want, and that is wild. There is permanent upgrade trees as well, along with tons of gear to collect at shops or just in the environment. It ultimately reminded me of the early Ys games, which just goes to show, don't judge a book by its cover. Disney Illusion is a great game on many levels that is sure to appease fans of the Illusion series, Mickey fans, and fans of co-op games. It's been a while since a 2D Disney platformer with multiplayer came out. It was a drought, but the Switch overall was booming with 4-player co-op games this year between this game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Sonic Superstars. You may not know that Disney Illusion Island was a Metroidvania, but hey, guess what? It is! You will gain permanent upgrades to increase traversal potential for all 4 characters. Mickey, for example, will get a pencil so that he can stick to walls and bounce off of them, while Donald will get a plunger that is the same exact tactic. There is no combat aside from boss encounters either, making it an accessible game for all ages thanks to the assist features as well as just the nice balance of everything. Rusted Moss is a Metroidvania that stars Fern and her globule companion, Puck. She's exploring some city ruins that were overtaken by plants, robots, and a string of witches who use void-based magic. It's a compelling world they set up, and the pixel art is striking too. The combat focuses on guns, which you will unlock upgrades for and new ones along the way through chests or by buying things at shops. The big gimmick though revolves around the grappling device, which is a bit finicky and hard to master. Thankfully, there are multiple options in the menu to make you feel as comfortable as you wish with the controller setup. Also, there are a plethora of assist options from invincibility to being able to fly around, which is always great to see even beyond difficulty levels. Tevy stars the titular Tevy, who is eventually joined on her adventures by Celia, an angel, and Sable, a demon. They hang out on your shoulder as floating orbs that fire different projectiles. Those are secondary weapons, but Tevy's main actions revolve around melee attacks. New skills can be learned through fighting, but mostly Tevy will get upgrades via shops and hard-earned money. What this game does above others on the list is be cute and funny. It's a silly little Metroidvania akin to Alice Escape, but it's a lot more solid of an experience overall than that game. Finally, we have number 1, Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue, which is of course a wild Japanese name, which is based on an anime, but you don't need to watch this anime to know what's going on. This is just another adventure for the heroine, Yohane, and her wolf companion, Laps. You will begin in undersea ruins, which will dive deeper into other biomes like a desert and a jungle. Defeating enemies will reward you with materials that can then be used to build equipment and weapons freely in the menu, which is nice. Also, comforting is the fact that death will not erase progress as you get back into the action quickly. It's an easy to pick up Metroidvania. The branching paths will allow you to explore sections at leisure with few caveats. Yohane the Parhelion Blaze in the Deep Blue is easily my favorite in terms of the overall package, from the music, graphics, gameplay loop, challenge level, and so on. Inti Creates just knows how to make games, but these are all of course great Metroidvanias and Metroidvania likes. So, that is it. Thank you for watching.